Every iteration of iOS since iOS 1 has brought incredible improvements to the iPhone, making this one of the best phones to use in 2026 and to make your life easier. Here are 10 features that you might not have known about in iOS 26. Some of these features are also available in prior versions of iOS, but for the most part, they're all available in iOS 26, and 9 out of 10 of these features don't need the latest iPhone 17. By the end of this video, you're going to learn how to truly leverage your iPhone to its fullest capabilities and possibly wow some of your friends with your newfound iOS knowledge. So let's dive in. Okay, first, my favorite iOS feature that is not actually found on any other phone that isn't iPhone. You know what I'm talking about. This is the back tap gesture, and it's found in accessibility. You want to head over into settings, then go over to accessibility, scroll down until you find touch. In this settings section, you'll want to scroll down a little bit further and you'll see back tap. Now, when you enable back tap, you have two options. You can double tap your phone or triple tap your phone. I'm going to show you how to use both. When you double tap, you can choose certain actions. So that's double tapping the back of your phone. This is super convenient when you don't want to press any buttons or you want quick access to something. So say for example, I want to double tap to activate the flashlight. I'll choose flashlight as my double tap option, and I can also set a triple tap. I want to set my triple tap to screenshot. Now that I have both of those activated, let's see how it works. Double tapping the back of my phone will activate the flashlight. When I double tap again, it turns it off. And when I triple tap, it takes a screenshot. That is really cool. All right, next up is shared library. Now for myself, I take a lot of photos, and some of those photos are with my wife, with my kid, and my wife really wants to have a copy of those photos, but airdropping it to her is always such a pain. Shared library is exactly what it sounds like. It's a shared library between you and someone else, or a group of other people that will automatically update with photos of themselves. If there's any photos that I take of my wife and me, those will automatically go to my shared library. It uses AI and face detection to determine which ones go into a shared library. So as you can see, I have a ton of photos of my kid. Most of them are all the same and duplicates, but me and my wife can go through these photos together and delete what we don't want and keep what we do. Every photo of my kid automatically goes into our shared library, so we can both see it at any point in time, and it's all hands off. I don't have to do anything at all. When you go to this hamburger menu at the top, you can cycle between both libraries, your personal library, or just your shared library. Now, in order to enable this, this can be found within settings, scroll all the way down to apps. In the app section, you can search for photos, and when you're in the photos settings, you can choose shared library. In the sharing settings, you can choose all of the participants you want, so you can have multiple people in your shared library. You can also enable the shared library suggestions so that it's easier for you to move those into the shared library. And then of course, my favorite feature is sharing from the camera. So right within the camera settings, there's an icon over here if you want that photo that you're about to snap to move into your shared library, or you can turn it off so that it goes straight to your personal library. So before I continue with all the amazing features that I found in iOS, I wanted to shout out something particular with iOS 26. It's the way that Apple handles lock screen wallpapers. You can see how Apple uses Depth Effect and Parrallax to make your lock screen clock merge beautifully with your wallpapers. Now, it's not just any wallpaper. There are particular wallpapers that will work better with Depth Effect and Parrallax. So if that's something that interests you, go ahead and check the link in my description to my wallpaper store. I have some amazing, incredible, and unique wallpapers that merge perfectly with the iOS 26 lock screen. Okay, next up is dual capture in camera. Now this is a really cool feature, and it's one I thought I should mention, but it's only exclusive to the iPhone 17 lineup and beyond. Now with dual capture in video mode, you can have both your front-facing and your rear-facing camera going at the same time, just like this, and you can record simultaneously. I love this feature because you can actually have both cameras going if you're doing a reel, if you're doing something where you need to show your face while you're actually talking. This makes it really easy for that. That can be enabled by going into the camera, going to the settings, and making sure that dual capture is on. Now, your photos and videos are only as good as the lens that you have on your phone. And that lens gets dirty a lot, especially when you're moving your phone from your pocket to your hand to all over the place. You want to make sure that that lens is always clean. But the problem is sometimes you forget, you pull your phone out and you start snapping pictures, and later on they're blurry, you realize that your lens was dirty all this time. One amazing feature in iOS is the ability for iOS to notify you when your lens is actually dirty right before you take that amazing shot. In order to enable this feature, go into Settings and then scroll down to Camera. In the camera settings, you can scroll all the way down, and closer to the bottom, you'll see lens cleaning hints. That is something you want to have enabled at all times. Next up is something that those with an Apple TV will really appreciate. Sometimes I lose my physical remote from my Apple TV. It's either hidden under the couch or even in the couch cushions. Lucky for me and lucky for you, your iPhone can be used as an Apple TV remote. It's super easy to actually access as well too, right within your control center. Over here, you can see that I have the Apple TV remote. So when I click it, I can cycle through any Apple TV that's in my home. I can also find the Apple TV remote, and I can control it using this intuitive gesture pad and the Apple TV controls. You can add that into your control center for quick and easy access, or even better, if you have a phone with an action button, you can use that action button to bring up the Apple TV remote itself. If you've ever been to a bar or a club, or even on the radio and you hear a song that's playing, and you really want to know what the name of that song is, it's really hard to go into your phone, then go into Shazam, and then press the button there, just to get it to recognize the song. By then, the song is probably already over. An easier way to do that on your iPhone is to have the Shazam button right in your control center. I love this because even though your phone is locked, you just swipe down from the control center and immediately press the button, and it'll start recognizing the song right off the bat. No more fumbling around and trying to find the app itself. Now, one of the greatest things about iOS, and since iOS 8, has been focus mode. It's one feature that I've been using quite often, especially when I'm at work, when I'm driving, if I'm working out. There's all different kinds of modes that you can set your phone to so that you don't get distracted easily. When I swipe down from my control center, I can easily pick the focus mode that I want, such as personal, work, sleep, or if I just want to reduce interruptions overall and let Apple Intelligence take care of the notifications that really matter and bring those to my attention, I can choose that as well. I also love the fact that the driving focus mode will automatically enable when I jump into my car and turn it on. When it connects to CarPlay, driving mode will automatically enable. This allows me to minimize the text messages that come through or any of the interruptions that come through while I'm driving, and lets me focus on the road itself. If someone texts me, I can set an auto reply so that it lets them know that I'm driving and get back to their message as soon as I'm able. You can also have exceptions to these focus modes so that the people who really matter can also get through to you when that focus mode is enabled. So say for example, I set my focus mode to do not disturb. I have it so that my wife, no matter what, will be able to reach me, and apps that I really want, like Apple Home or my Aqara app, will be able to notify me when I'm in do not disturb. So say if my home alarm went off, Apple Home will notify me even though I'm in the do not disturb focus mode. You can also customize your home screens with different wallpapers, as well as your Apple Watch, so that when those focus modes are enabled, you'll know for sure. There's so many powerful options within focus mode, such as setting a schedule so that that focus mode is automatically enabled at a certain time, or even filters on how apps behave when that focus mode is on. You also have the ability to share your focus mode across multiple devices. So say if you have a laptop and an iPad as well as an Apple Watch, your focus mode will enable on all of those devices as well if you so choose. You can easily access focus mode by going to Settings, scrolling down, and hitting Focus. You can add your own focus modes, or you can delete the ones that are already preset. Now, apart from the sleep focus mode, here's another feature that I use all the time when I go to bed. It's called standby mode, and it was introduced in iOS 17. It transforms a charging, locked iPhone placed in horizontal landscape orientation into a full screen smart display. It acts as a nightstand clock, a photo frame, or a widget viewer. In order to enable standby mode, you just go into your settings, scroll down a little bit, and you can go to standby, and this allows you to enable it. It allows you to show notifications, and you can change the display to go automatically after 20 seconds or never. Night mode will prevent it from blasting light in your eyes when you're sleeping. Now, I used to use 1Password to be able to keep all of my credit card information secure. So when I'm on the go, if I need to go online and I need to input my credit card details, I don't have to whip out my card. I can just go into 1Password and pull up my credit card details. However, in newer versions of iOS and Apple Wallet, this eliminates the need for me to use 1Password. Apart from storing your car keys, your house keys, and your credit cards for tapping, you can also have your credit card details stored in Apple Wallet. In this example, I have my Visa. I'll click on this button right here, and it uses Face ID to authenticate me and shows me all of my credit card details. So I can see my card number, the name, the expiration date, the security code, everything that is stored in here, so I don't have to have my physical card on me. Now, the final thing that I'm going to show you today in iOS is Control Center pages. Now, Control Center is great, and I can have all of my most used widgets on the Control Center. But what if I want to drill down into specific Control Center options, like music, or connectivity, or my Apple Home? Here, you can actually have your widgets separated into specific categories. So when I scroll down to music, or connectivity, or Apple Home, I can view these quickly and action them right from the Control Center. So those are the options in iOS that I think are really cool and not many people really know about. If you like this video and you want to see more like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If there's a specific feature that you really like in iOS, also let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you. Like always, my name is J.I. Thank you for watching and thank you for kicking it with me. See you in the next one.